Hey guys, welcome back to Brothers in Air. I hope you guys had a great weekend, man, because I know I did. Here in Wisconsin, we had our youth hunt over this weekend, and my 13-year-old daughter is her first deer hunt, first gun hunt, and 30 minutes into the opening day of the youth hunt, she bagged a spike and kill shot, right in the heart, dropped it, just dropped it. It didn't even take a step, so super proud times, man, as a dad, super exciting. And so like I said, it was an awesome weekend. But anyways, let's get into this here, what I got going on here. This compressor is exactly the same as the Hatson Spark. I purchased this one off Amazon. It's branded as Tuxing, but it's the exact same thing. I've got a partner that's got the Spark, and we've been into both of them, and they are the same exact thing. There are some I've seen on eBay and different websites, for like $200 and 230, right around in that range. And they've got like some green switches, and mechanically it appears to be the same thing, but from reports and talking to a couple guys that have actually purchased those, I don't think it is the same thing. It appears it's the same mechanically, but it's being assembled with a lot cheaper materials and products and stuff, so I would stay away from those ones. And but anyhow, I purchased this one just over $300 on Amazon, and it came with the unit and everything that they all come with, but it also came with the power source for that price. So that was also included, whereas a lot of them out there, you've got to buy the unit, which is anywhere from $300 to $400, 400 plus, and then you've got to spend an extra $50-$60 and get yourself the power source. But like I said, this one came with the power source, and so that's cool. And I'm not gonna, because it came with the unit, that's great. But I would have ordered the unit standalone, because I knew that I wasn't going to be using the power source anyways. But if anybody orders, this exact one, or this, gets a power source like this, and needs any help with understanding how to set it up or wire it up or any of that kind of stuff, just hit me up in the comments, or on brothersinAir@gmail.com, and we'll get you squared away. But anyways, I bought the compressor for one, and I had a plan, and that's what you see here. My plan was to make a 100% mobile filling station, something I could use down here when I'm tuning, up in the backyard when I'm shooting, something I could throw in the back of my truck and take with me when I'm out hunting, just something that would literally be 100% mobile, and I could use it anywhere. And so that's what I did. But I guess first I'll mention, there's the Yong Hangs and all the there's other compressors out there, and they've been around for quite some time. I've been hand pumping for like 5.5, 6 years. So there's a reason why I never purchased one of those compressors, because I didn't want to deal with the oil and water cooling aspect of the unit. I wanted, in my mind, I wouldn't use it quite much. And the only time probably that I would use it is down here tuning on my guns and stuff. But I couldn't imagine carrying, buckets of water out in different places. And, to the guys that do it, props to you, man. But to me, it just didn't really fit with what I would want a compressor to do for me, and, to suit my needs. Especially because I do an awful lot of hunting away from home. And I don't own any scuba tanks or any big vessels like that. So anyhow, that's why I stayed away from the Yong Hangs and stuff like that. And then we've had for quite some time compressors that are dry, and they have no oil or water, and you don't have to deal with all that, like the Nomad and others. But they've all been so expensive, and when I've gotten to points where I've had the money to purchase one of those, that was the last thing on my mind. I was hitting my wish list up, for guns that I want to buy, and yeah, I just keep on hand pumping, you know, because I want a new gun. I couldn't, you know, I couldn't ever fork out that much cash for a compressor, you know. I just couldn't, I didn't have it in me. So anyhow, this little guy, you know, came out, and I waited for a while. You know, I wanted to see what people were saying that had purchased it, you know, and kind of, you know, give it a trial run or whatever, because this, you know, this guy was new to the market and everything, and you know, all you really see anywhere is positive reviews, and guys really love the thing, you know, myself included, and so I thought, you know, now that I've owned it for a little over a month, that I should make a video and share what I've done here. So anyways, the only difference in mine and like my buddies with the Spark, the temperature gauge on this one is coming in Celsius, and so, you know, I stenciled onto the top here just for reference, max temp 90 degrees Celsius, and that way, just, you know, so it's labeled. You know, the thing has a 4,500 PSI max fill, 310 bar. So I also stenciled that on there. And just like my buddies in the manual for his Spark, you know, in the pictures of the compressor and stuff, it doesn't have any you know, it appears unbranded. It doesn't have any hats and labeling or any of the stenciled crap on there, you know, where it says, you know, whatever, air outlet and fan and all that. But anyway, so they are in fact the same thing. But anyhow, so it also is coming with a gauge, one of the small style gauges, you know, just like on your guns. But it's coming with this gauge, and the gauge is in MPa. So I couldn't have that, you know, and it's really small. These are very inaccurate gauges, and I wanted to get a better idea of how, you know, how well the pump works, you know, how well the compressor works as far as when you cut it off, you know, and the pressures you're at and stuff. And these gauges just aren't going to cut it, you know. If I'm going to fill up to 1650 psi, I want to fill up right to that point, you know. I don't want to guesstimate and be in the rough range, you know, when looking at something like this. So what I did is the fill whip that came with it, I removed the female quick disconnect from the end of it, and I attached the fill probe directly to the whip. You know, they've got this little filter cartridge on the end here that you could put some filter media in there, you know, for separating your moisture. But I put the fill probe directly onto there. This is just a highlighter that I cut and made into, you know, it's a marker, and I, you know, find the proper diameter for the fill probe so that it fits snugly on there, and just cut it down. And that way I can pop them, you know, on the fill probe and toss it around, pack it up. You know, I don't have to worry about dust and different things getting on there, or the O-rings getting jacked up or anything like that. So what I did is I took the quick disconnect off the end of there, the female. Now, the only way you can do this is to void your warranty and open up the unit. So, you know, if you want to do it, there's just no way around it, because you're not going to get in there with any kind of tool, a socket or anything, and get this factory stock gauge that it came with. You're not going to get it out unless you open it up and take this housing off of here, this upper housing. And so that's what I did. I opened it up, and I took out, you know, and removed the gauge that came stock, screwed here into the block, and all I did was replace it with that female quick disconnect. And then I took an air venturi gauge that reads in PSI and bar. You know, also it's much bigger, and these gauges are very, very accurate as opposed to these. And like I said, it's visually, you know, it's a bigger readout and everything. So that's what I wanted. And the stem of it isn't long enough to reach all the way in there and screw into the block. So that's the reason why I put the quick disconnect, and because it didn't reach, and I didn't want to wait for parts, you know, and order parts and wait and stuff. You know, I just wanted to get this thing smoking. So that's what I did. So I put the female quick disconnect on there, and then I took the air venturi gauge and I put a male quick disconnect on the end of that. So that way I could just take it up, you know, off and on here, just like that. And you know, it is sticking up a little bit, but the way that I set this all up so that it could all fit into this box, you know, and be just a standalone unit altogether, you know, nothing's going to hit onto it or anything. It's down in the box recessed, you know, so I'm not, originally I had planned to order the parts and do it up nice and bring it down and flush it off, you know, pretty close to the housing here and stuff, but I'm just going to leave it how it is, you know, because it works great, and, you know, there's no problem there. So anyways, so that's what I did. I switched out the gauge. So now we've got a larger readout, and we're reading in bar and PSI, you know, and then we're matching the gauges on the gun as well. And basically what I did here is I took all of the stuff and I mounted it to a piece of plywood, because I didn't want to mount directly into the box and have to remove, you know, with maintenance or any type of thing. I didn't want to have to try to screw around removing it from out of the box. I wanted to be able to take everything up and out quick and easy, you know, all as one. So that's what I did. I just got some, you know, some Velcro scraps that I had laying around, and fixed everything down to the plywood. You know, I strapped down the unit, the compressor, and I strapped down the lawn and garden tractor battery, and then this is a battery maintainer. And so basically what you've got is, and the reason I picked this particular battery, to be honest, was because of its size. I didn't want to go with a full-size car battery, and also because of its price. It's like 23 bucks total, with the tax and everything at Walmart. And I knew that this would suit my needs for what I wanted to do and what I was going to have going on. And so that's what I did. I purchased this from Walmart, and like I said, it was like 23 bucks total. So a little bit of extra costs into things here, but basically it all evens out to being the same price as what you would pay if you had bought the compressor for 400 bucks or whatever, like you find in a lot of spots. So I was really glad to find this exact compressor for the price that I did. And I hope that, you know, I see the prices continue to drop, you know, across the board. Even Hot Sun is lowering their price and everything, but hopefully you guys can still get a hold of these, you know, if you wanted to order one out. Like I said, I'll leave a link to the one that I specifically purchased. But anyway, so what we got going on here, you want to fuse this, because otherwise you have no protection protecting your compressor here. There's no internal circuit protection or fuses inside the unit. So just as a precaution, in case for some reason there was some kind of an overcurrent, you know, this battery's got 230 cold cranking amps. So just to protect the unit and the wiring and the switches and everything, we install fuse. So this is just a 50 amp DC fuse. You know, you can find it at any auto parts store anywhere. And all I did was bend one of the prongs down and attached it directly to the battery lead, the positive battery lead. And then I just attached the positive battery wire to the other end of the fuse. So now we've got our positive line fused right at the battery, which is what you want to do anytime that you're fusing something. You know, you want to get as close to your power source as you can with your fuse, just to protect all your wiring and stuff. So anyways, we've got the fuse, and then the positive lead come down, go to the positive terminal on the unit, and then the blue wire obviously is the negative, going directly to the battery, and then to the negative lead on the compressor. And then what I did is I wired in right to the same leads on the compressor. I wired in the positive and negative of the battery maintainer. So when I'm not using the unit stays plugged in at all times, and that's what you want with, you know, any outside of your car. You know, it'd be my recommendation to use a battery maintainer on everything, you know, for storage, on your lawn tractor, all that, you know, because lead acid batteries, anytime that they get below 12.4 volts, sulfation begins to occur, and it builds up on the plates, and then it gets worse and worse the more times that you do that. You know, that you, even if you recharge the battery, the more times you go below 12.4 and under, and that sulfation gets worse and worse, and that's what, you know, a battery eventually gets to the point is where someone will say, oh, that battery's dead, it won't take a charge. And that's why, because of the sulfation. But so anyways, battery maintainer keeps the battery completely topped off at all times and in good health, you know, so that it'll last a very, very long time. So whenever I'm not using the unit, I just keep it plugged in, and that way we're good there. Now, I took this sucker out, man, and I topped off 41 times, okay? I left the house with the battery on a full charge, unplugged the maintainer, and took off and went. And it's just awesome, man. It's all in the box. The box is right in the truck with all my other gear. You know, it's all contained in here. You could stack on it if you wanted to. It's great. And as far as the box goes, I bought this from Menards. It's just $10. You know, it's just a cheap wooden crate, you know, pine box. And then I just took my torch to it and fire stained it up a little bit, you know, so it had a little character, you know, darkened it up a little bit. And I cut this hole out of this end just so the compressor could breathe on the end here a little more, you know, for the release of the heat and whatnot. And so that's why I cut that hole, because it fits down right in there and right up against here where the compressor is. Everything else is very breathable. You know, I've got it up off the wall. All the fans can draw air real nice, you know, so there's no problems that way. And, you know, it's only taken 2 minutes, 3 minutes plus to top off on everything that I've got. So it's running for, you know, a little short bursts anyways. But anyways, I topped off 41 times and came back home and took my voltmeter and checked out, you know, where the battery was at. And the battery was at 12.48. So, you know, it was almost at 12.5. So it still was above that halfway mark. You know, a half charged 12 volt battery would be right at about 12.4. So I still was above that after running the compressor 41 separate times, doing 41 separate top offs. So it was awesome, man. I was super happy. You know, probably the most I'd ever use it in one day without plugging it in again. And you know, that was just a real extreme day, and I was testing a whole bunch of pellets out and stuff in the new flash wood. But so man, it's been awesome. I took it on a hunt. I went on a hunt, you know, on a dove hunt to a public hunting ground, and just had it up in the back of the truck, you know, and I was having so much fun, man. After I bagged almost everything I saw in sight, I just got to shooting for a while, you know. I set up some different stuff and I was shooting at some different things, and before you know it, I needed some air, man. So all I had to do was trek right back to the truck parked on the side of the road and fire this bad boy up, man, for, you know, 2 minutes, and I was back out there shooting again, you know. And all because of the battery, you know. I don't have to worry about plugging it in or where I'm at or anything. It's literally 100% mobile. So the only other recommendation I would give to you if you're going to purchase one of these, the fill whips that are coming with them are rather short, as you can see. You know, here's my other one. You know, it's only like 2 feet or something at max, you know. So you're going to need, well, you don't have to, but, you know, you don't want to have the gun probably right up on it and all that, you know. So you got a little bit of room and a little bit of length here, you know. So I bought a 36-inch whip, you know, just to extend things a little bit. And also, I will always recommend that anybody, whether you're hand pumping or what you're doing, compressor, hand pump, it doesn't matter. Always use an oil water separator. I'll leave a link for the one that I'm using. This is a Creation Core, but just as an example, and for you guys that think, you know, well, my cylinder's aluminum or whatever, I don't have to worry, it's not going to rust or anything. It's not steel. Aluminum still oxidizes, you know, and I'm not going to get into it, but you know, you can do your own research and stuff. But anyways, moisture is, like, literally, when it comes down to it, probably the worst enemy of our guns. And you want to be putting dry air, whether, like I said, whether you're hand pumping or compressor, whatever it is, you want to be putting dry air into your gun. You don't want to be at all putting moist air into there, and all it does is condense under the high pressure, and now we've got moisture inside the reservoir, and like I said, even the aluminum will begin to oxidize. Certain parts of the gun might be even different kinds of steel, you know, so they're going to rust and oxidize right away, and you're just going to ruin, you can ruin a gun with moisture, trust me. So I will always recommend one of these. And I've got, you know, like a cotton filter on top and bottom and some micro sieve in the middle, so the air is always dry, you know. And then I've got a whole bunch of extra micro sieve that I can just charge up and keep it fresh in there, you know, so I'm not pushing any water. And just for an example, I somehow left this thing up north, you know, and I had to have it sent back by a family member. and I was pumping for, I think, 6 weeks on the flash pup. I was, in the heat of just really using the flash pup and doing things with the flash pup. And so I pumped for 6 weeks in the middle of summer without the oil water separator. And when I opened up after that 6 weeks, I wanted to make a regulator adjustment. You would not believe the amount of water that was in that cylinder. And there was all kinds of oxidation beginning to occur just on the front side, on the high pressure side of the reg, all along the tube there. So no good. You don't want that. Always use one of these. If you're saving for your next gun, take some of that money and get you one of these, man, because you're going to regret it. You're going to want to keep your guns in good shape, and have them last in a real long time. So, just use one. Guys will say, well, I hand pump and I've never seen a drop of water. Bullshit. I don't believe it. I don't care where you live. I seen a guy in the forum, he said, well, I live in Florida and I pump my guns up in the house with the windows open and the ocean is just spraying mist right into the house and I don't want to get a drop of water. Man, that's BS, man. I mean, it's physics. The moisture's in the air and trust me, okay? So just use one, man. It's the best investment you could get for your air guns. I know I'm rambling on, but it is that important. It really is. So anyways, let me see if I can get this thing up into here. And like I said, I've had it for a little over a month. It's been awesome. I've been just using the crap out of it, and it's been holding up perfect. Everything's been really nice with it. So anyways, like I said, I got it all set up so that I could just place the whole entire unit right up into here like this. So now I've got everything contained right up in this box, Oh, and another thing I'll mention, I did take some Flex Seal, rubber spray, and cover the terminals and everything like that, just to insulate it, because when I'm putting in the whips and stuff, this is steel. You don't want to have this on your positive and negative somehow when you're in your car traveling or something. The whole time you got the battery shorting out. So anyways, that's why I did that. I Flex Sealed all the connections on top of the battery and stuff, just so if they come in contact with anything conductive, we don't have a problem there. But everything fits right up in here, man. I just keep it all right up in the box. And we're ready to go, man. We're ready to go on a hunt. We're ready to go to the range. We can head up to the backyard. The whole unit in the box and everything. I mean, it weighs 40 pounds, I think. 41 pounds, so not bad at all. I mean, my 5-year-old couldn't carry it, but man, I love this thing, man. I mean, it has made me more excited about my hunting and air gunning and stuff, because I just feel like this thing's a cat's ass, When I walk right back out to the truck and flip this thing on, fill up the gun quick, it's just awesome. And, the reason I did it this way, obviously, you get your jumpers with it and you can go on the battery of your car and stuff. I couldn't see, having my gun and trying to balance, and it's up in the hood, and then you got the unit, the compressor, and trying to fit it somewhere, and cables on the battery and all that. I didn't want to deal with all that, so this is what I did. Now everything's just right up in here, packed tight, and ready to rock and roll, and all we got to do is plug it into a gun and hit the switch, So anyways, I wanted to share that with you guys and show you what I did here. So I hope you enjoyed it, man, and I hope you liked the video. Stay tuned. Obviously, I got more to come, man. I'm gonna do this breech seal and this intake valve seal change on the flash pup next. So stay tuned for that. And to all my brothers, take it easy, shoot straight, happy shooting. It's funny, we say that. It's kind of getting cliche to me, happy shooting. I'm gonna come up with something else cool to say. Maybe. Stay tuned on the next one. Maybe I'll have some really cool little new catchphrase we can use, besides happy shooting. But anyways, you guys take it easy, man.